Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're diving deep into something that I think really impacts all of us, and that's company culture.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Specifically, how leaders at the top can shape the environment that we work in.
Absolutely.
It's about understanding why it matters, but more importantly, how we can actually make a difference, whether we're leading a team or just navigating our own workplace.
Yeah, and it's interesting. What we're talking about here isn't just like those surface level perks,
Right.
ping pong tables and free snacks. We're going deeper.
Yes.
We're talking about values and how we communicate and trust
Yeah.
and how those things have a real impact on a company's bottom line.
And all of this comes from Beyond the Boardroom, a guide to cultural change in the C-suite.
It's a great book.
And it's got these really interesting strategies like contrarian collaboration.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
What does that even mean?
Right.
And then things like below-the-table conversations.
Yeah.
And even owning your armor.
Yeah, some of these sound a little bit out there, I know.
A little bit.
But they're worth exploring because
right.
they all tie back to empowering employees and building trust.
Oh, okay.
It's about moving away from that like old school top-down approach and creating a more collaborative and fulfilling work experience.
So, first and foremost, why should we even care about company culture?
Yeah, that's the big question.
I mean, yeah, a positive work environment's great,
right.
but is there a real impact?
Yeah, there's definitely real impact.
Okay.
A strong company culture is linked to a lot of benefits,
Oh.
like increased employee engagement, better performance, higher retention rates,
Yeah.
and it can even turn your employees into passionate advocates for the company,
Oh, wow.
which is marketing gold.
Yeah.
Like word of mouth is the best advertising you can get.
Right. So it's not just an HR initiative.
No.
It's actually a strategic advantage that can impact a company's success.
Huge. And, that's where the C-suite leaders come in. They have a really unique role in shaping that culture, not just setting a vision, but by embodying those values that they want to see in the organization.
So like walking the walk,
Walking the walk, yeah, not just talking the talk.
not just talking the talk.
Yeah, like imagine a company that promotes work-life balance, but their CEO is sending emails at 3 a.m.
Oh, yeah, totally.
You know what I mean?
Actions speak louder than words.
Yeah, and employees can see that mismatch, and it just erodes trust.
Yeah, totally makes sense.
Undermines the entire message.
So let's get into these 7 strategies from the source material.
Okay, sounds good.
And let's see how they actually work in practice.
All right, let's start with contrarian collaboration.
Contrarian collaboration.
I know it sounds a little contradictory,
It does.
but hear me out.
Okay.
Think of it as seeking out people who challenge your assumptions.
You want?
So imagine like a CEO who surrounds themselves with advisors from all different backgrounds and experiences and even opinions.
So not just a bunch of yes people.
Exactly. Yes, people.
Okay.
You want people who are going to push back a little bit.
Got it.
And it sends a message, not just to those advisors, but throughout the organization that everyone's opinions are valued.
Okay, so it fosters innovation.
Fosters innovation, reduces groupthink, leads to better decisions.
I like it.
It's a good one.
What's next?
Let's talk radical transparency.
Okay.
This one might make some leaders uncomfortable.
How so?
Well, it's about being completely open about decision-making.
Even when things aren't going well.
Especially when things aren't going well.
Really?
Yeah.
So if there are like financial challenges or like a project fails,
Yes. You're transparent about it.
that seems risky.
I know it might seem counterintuitive,
Okay.
but it actually builds trust
Okay.
because it shows that leaders are human
Okay.
and that they make mistakes
Uh-huh.
and that they're not trying to hide anything.
So instead of sweeping it under the rug,
Don't sweep it under the rug.
you address it head on.
Exactly.
Wow.
When you explain the why behind a decision, even if people don't like the decision, they at least understand it, and they're more likely to accept it.
So it's about treating employees like adults.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And respecting their intelligence.
I like it.
And then it encourages that same level of open communication at every level.
Oh, wow. So people are more likely to speak up
Exactly.
if they feel like they're going to be heard.
Yeah.
Okay, transparency.
Yeah.
Check. What's next?
Okay, let's talk about below-the-table conversations.
Ooh, below the table conversations.
Yeah, this is a good one.
Sounds like a secret society.
I know, right?
What are we talking about?
So think about it like this. What are the things that people are hesitant to say
Okay.
directly to their boss
Yeah.
or in a meeting?
Uh-huh.
Those frustrations, those complaints, those ideas that are kind of simmering beneath the surface.
Okay, so how do you tap into that
Right.
without it being weird?
Well, you have to provide safe spaces for employees to share their thoughts.
Okay.
And the book suggests doing things like anonymous surveys,
Okay.
suggestion boxes, maybe even dedicated office hours with HR,
Oh, interesting.
where people can voice their concerns confidentially.
So creating an environment where people feel comfortable speaking up,
Exactly.
even if it's about something sensitive.
But even if it's sensitive, yeah.
Makes sense.
And so you're getting ahead of these issues before they become bigger problems.
Okay, so we've got contrarian collaboration, we've got radical transparency,
Yep.
we've got below-the-table conversations.
Kicks it.
What's next?
All right, the next one is owning your armor.
Owning your armor. What are we talking about medieval knights here?
Not quite,
Okay.
but think of it as recognizing how you react to stress.
Okay.
Like those fight, flight, or freeze responses, and how they impact people around you.
So we all have different ways of dealing with pressure,
Yes.
but how does that play into the workplace?
Well, imagine a leader who shuts down when things get tough or gets really defensive.
Uh-huh.
That's their armor
Oh, yeah.
showing up.
And if that's how the leader's acting, it's probably going to create a culture of fear
Exactly.
and avoidance.
People are going to be afraid to take risks.
Yeah.
So owning your armor is a 3-step process.
Okay, tell me more.
Okay, so first you have to identify what your triggers are.
So self-awareness.
Self-awareness is step 1.
Okay.
What are the things that stress you out at work?
Got it. Step 2.
Step 2, reflect on how you react in those situations.
Okay.
Like, do you get confrontational? Do you withdraw? Do you freeze up?
So recognizing your own patterns.
Exactly.
Right.
And step 3, this is the big one, own your impact.
Own your impact.
How do your reactions affect those around you?
Okay.
And what problems might your armor have caused in the past?
So taking responsibility.
Taking responsibility
Sure.
for your actions, yeah, and how your behavior shapes the team. And ultimately, the company culture.
That's fascinating.
It's powerful stuff.
So we've got contrarian collaboration, radical transparency,
Mm-hmm.
below-the-table conversations, and owning your armor.
4 down.
I'm already seeing how these could completely transform a company's culture.
Me too.
But we're just getting started.
We are.
So in the next part of our deep dive,
Yes.
we'll explore the remaining 3 strategies from beyond the boardroom
Looking forward to it.
and how they can translate into real-world change. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone. Let's jump right back in where we left off and explore 3 more strategies that can help shape a better company culture. And we're talking real-world stuff. You know,
Right.
things that you can actually do.
Yeah, in the last part, we were talking about some really out there ideas, like, owning your armor and those below-the-table conversations.
Yeah, those are big ones.
What else does this book have in store for us?
Okay, well, the next strategy is about bringing humanity back to the workplace. It's called bringing your whole self to work.
Bringing your whole self to work. I like that.
Yeah.
But doesn't that kind of blur the lines
Yeah.
between our professional and personal lives?
Yeah. I mean, boundaries are important.
Right.
But think about it, when people feel like they can be themselves at work
Okay.
and share their interests and their passions, even their vulnerabilities,
Yeah.
it creates a more authentic and connected environment.
So it's not about oversharing or turning the office into a therapy session.
No, not at all.
Okay.
It's about showing up as a complete human being,
Right.
not just a cog in the machine.
Got it.
And this starts at the top.
Hmm.
You know, imagine a CEO who celebrates their kids' soccer victory or who shares, their struggles with work-life balance.
Yeah.
It sends a powerful message.
Yeah. It shows that it's okay to be human.
Exactly.
To have a life outside of work.
Yes.
And bring those different sides of yourself into the office.
Precisely. And it creates empathy.
Okay.
When you see your colleagues as whole people,
Yeah.
it's easier to build trust
Okay. I'm with you.
and create a more supportive culture.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
So stronger relationships.
So we've got bringing your whole self to work. What's next?
Okay, the next strategy is vertical learning.
Vertical learning.
And this might sound a little technical,
Okay.
but it's really about personal growth.
I'm picturing like a corporate climbing wall or something.
Not quite, but think of it as going beyond traditional professional development.
Okay.
It's about continuous self-reflection,
Yeah.
deepening your emotional intelligence,
Yeah.
and refining your core values.
So it's not just about acquiring new skills.
Yeah.
It's more about understanding yourself.
Exactly.
Right.
How you operate in the world.
Got it.
And for leaders who want to shape company culture,
Yeah.
this is crucial.
Okay.
The more self-aware you are,
Yeah.
the better you'll be at articulating and living out those values that you want to see.
It's like that saying, know thyself.
know thyself exactly.
Yeah.
If you don't understand your own motivations and biases,
Right.
how can you lead others effectively?
It's a really good point.
And the cool thing about vertical learning is it's an ongoing journey.
Oh, I like that.
There's always more to learn.
Always more to
About
learn.
yourself.
Okay, I'm excited for the last strategy. What is it?
Okay, the final one is ditching the hierarchy.
Ditching the hierarchy. Wait, so does that mean no more bosses?
Well, not quite.
Okay.
But it's about challenging those traditional power structures
Okay.
and creating a more collaborative and egalitarian work environment.
So how does that work in practice? Wouldn't it just be chaos?
Well, you replace that top-down control
Huh?
with shared decision-making.
Okay.
Empower employees to contribute ideas.
Okay.
Encourage open dialogue, debate.
Huh.
Create cross-functional teams where people from different departments
Yeah.
can work together.
So everyone has a voice.
Everyone has a voice, yes.
Okay.
And you know what the book even suggests?
What's that?
Getting rid of traditional performance reviews.
Whoa, hold on.
Yeah.
Getting rid of performance reviews altogether. How would you measure performance?
Well, instead of those top-down judgments,
Right.
you have regular two-way conversations
Okay.
between managers and employees focused on growth and development.
So more like coaching
Coaching, mentoring.
than like evaluation.
Exactly.
Yep.
And this shift can have a huge impact on company culture.
How so?
It fosters trust, encourages open communication, and it empowers employees to take ownership of their work.
I like it.
So you end up with more engaged and motivated employees.
So we've covered all 7 strategies from beyond the boardroom.
We have.
We've got contrarian collaboration, radical transparency below the table, conversations, owning your armor, bringing your whole self to work, vertical learning, and ditching the hierarchy.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
But let's be real. Putting these ideas into practice can be tough.
It can be very challenging.
What are some of the obstacles that leaders might face?
Well, one of the biggest hurdles is skepticism and cynicism.
Okay.
Employees have probably seen these culture change programs come and go,
Yeah.
and they might be wary
Yeah, for sure.
of yet another initiative
For
that
the-
promises to transform the workplace.
So how do you break through that cynicism
Right.
and get people excited about these changes?
Well, it comes down to authenticity.
Okay.
Leaders need to show that they are truly committed
Mhm.
to these values,
Yeah.
not just with their words,
Okay.
but with their actions.
So walking the walk every day.
Walking the walk every day, yeah.
Okay.
And it can't just be the C-suite.
Right.
Middle managers have a really important role to play here
Okay.
because they are the ones who are interacting with employees day to day,
Yeah.
and they can reinforce these behaviors.
So it's like a cascading effect.
Exactly.
It starts at the top and spreads throughout the organization.
It does, and it takes time.
Okay.
You're not going to see change overnight.
So authenticity, consistency, patience.
Patience, yeah.
Got it.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
What are some other challenges that leaders might face?
Well, I think a common pitfall is trying to do too much too soon.
Okay.
It's tempting to launch a whole bunch of initiatives all at once,
Right.
but that can be really overwhelming for
Yeah.
everybody.
To start small.
Start small, focus on a few key areas
Okay.
where you can have the biggest impact.
Got it.
Identify those low-hanging fruit,
Low-hanging fruit.
the things that are relatively easy to implement and can generate some quick wins.
So build some momentum.
Sell momentum, exactly.
Show people that it's possible.
Yeah, and then you can build from there.
Okay, makes sense.
Another challenge is measuring the impact.
Yeah. How do you know if it's working?
It's not always easy to measure these things,
Right.
like, employee engagement or trust or collaboration.
It's all intangible stuff.
It's very intangible. So you have to establish clear metrics,
Oh.
track them over time.
What kind of metrics are we talking about?
Well, it could be things like employee satisfaction surveys,
Okay.
turnover rates, absenteeism,
Uh-huh.
even the number of innovative ideas
Oh, interesting.
that are generated within teams.
So you're finding ways to quantify those intangible things.
You have to find a way, yeah.
Got it.
And then communicate those results
Yeah.
to the whole organization.
Got it.
Share the success stories, highlight the changes that are happening.
Yeah, celebrate the wins.
Celebrate the wins, yeah.
Okay, but what about when things just aren't working? What if a particular strategy just isn't resonating?
You have to be flexible
Okay.
and adaptable.
So you're not sticking to the plan no matter what.
No, you might have to abandon a strategy altogether
Wow, okay.
if it's not working.
Got it.
Be open to feedback,
Yeah.
learn from your mistakes,
Uh,
and continuously refine your approach.
Makes sense.
That's what makes it so interesting. It's an ongoing process.
I love that.
Yeah, there's always more to learn.
So we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive into shaping company culture.
A lot of ground. Yeah.
But before we wrap up, I want to circle back to those 7 key strategies
Okay.
because they're all interconnected, right?
They are.
It's not about picking and choosing just one or two.
Right.
You need to weave them all together
Yes.
to create a truly transformative culture.
Exactly. They reinforce each other, create a synergy.
So let's do a quick recap.
Great.
We talked about contrarian collaboration.
Uh-huh.
That's about seeking out diverse perspectives.
Yes.
Radical transparency.
Yeah.
Being open and honest.
Even when things are tough.
Even when things are tough.
Yeah.
And then those below-the-table conversations.
Yeah.
Acknowledging those unspoken tensions.
Yes.
Owning your armor. Understanding how our stress responses impact others.
Such a powerful one.
Right. And then bringing your whole self to work.
Yes. Encouraging authenticity.
Vertical learning. That journey of self-discovery.
Uh-huh.
And finally, ditching the hierarchy.
Challenging those power structures.
Wow, when you put it all together like that, it's pretty inspiring.
It is inspiring.
Imagine a workplace where these principles are embraced.
Yeah. It would be amazing.
What would that look like?
Well, you'd see increased employee engagement,
Okay.
higher productivity, lower turnover.
Wow.
Ultimately, a more fulfilling work experience
I love it.
for everyone.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one thing you want our listeners to remember?
I want them to remember that we all have the power to influence our workplace culture.
Okay.
It doesn't matter what your title is.
Yeah.
You can embrace these principles
Uh-huh.
and promote a more positive environment.
So whether you're a CEO or an entry-level employee,
Mm-hmm.
you can make a difference.
You can make a difference, yes.
Awesome.
And it starts with small actions.
Okay.
Consistently applied over time.
I like it.
Those small ripples
Wow.
can turn into a wave. That transforms the whole organization.
This has been an incredible deep dive into shaping company culture.
It has been.
Thank you so much for sharing your insights
It's been my pleasure.
and for reminding us that we all have the power to make a difference.
We do.
Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into C-suite culture shifts. We've explored some incredible strategies from beyond the boardroom, but, change is never easy.
It's not easy, no.
So in this last part, let's get real about the challenges of putting these ideas into practice.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
And, making them stick.
Okay.
We've got these 7 amazing strategies.
Uh-huh.
How do we get people on board?
Right.
How do we get them to actually buy into this?
Well, you're going to face some resistance.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
People don't like change.
Right.
Especially when it comes to something as, fundamental as company culture.
Yeah.
You might encounter skepticism, cynicism, maybe even outright pushback.
So people are going to roll their eyes and be like, here we go again.
Exactly like another culture change program.
Another one.
Yeah.
How do you get past that negativity?
Well, it all comes down to authenticity.
Okay.
Leaders need to show
Yeah.
that they're committed to these values,
Okay.
not just with their words, but with their actions.
So leading by example.
Leading by example, yes.
Showing them that you're really invested.
Exactly. And it's not just about the leaders at the top.
Okay.
Middle managers are so important here.
How so?
Because they're the ones who are interacting with their teams day in and day out. They
What?
can really reinforce these behaviors.
So it's like a ripple effect.
It's a ripple effect. Yeah, it starts at the top.
Yeah.
And then it kind of spreads throughout the whole organization.
And I imagine that takes time.
It does. It takes time. You're not going to change a company's culture overnight.
Okay, so authenticity, consistency, patience.
Patience, yeah, it's a long game.
So what are some other challenges that might pop up?
Well, I think a common mistake is trying to do too much too soon.
Okay.
Like, it's tempting to launch a whole bunch of initiatives all at once.
Yeah.
But that can be super overwhelming.
Yeah, for everybody.
For everybody. So start small.
Okay.
Focus on a few key areas
Right,
where you
yes.
can really make a difference.
Okay, so like the low-hanging fruit.
The low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
Get a few quick wins under your belt.
No.
Build some momentum.
And show people that it's possible.
Show them that it's possible.
Yeah, they can actually work.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what about measuring, the impact of these changes?
Yeah, that can be tricky.
Yeah, because how do you know if it's working?
Right. It's not always easy to quantify these things.
Like employee engagement or trust or collaboration.
It's all very intangible.
Yeah.
So you have to set up some clear metrics
Okay.
and track them over time.
What kind of metrics?
Well, you could look at employee satisfaction surveys,
Okay.
turnover rates, absenteeism. You could even look at the number of innovative ideas
Oh, interesting.
that are being generated within teams.
So you're finding ways to actually measure those intangible things.
Exactly.
Got
And then
it.
you got to communicate those results to the whole organization.
So everyone knows what's going on.
Everybody knows what's going on.
Yeah.
Celebrate the wins.
So celebrate the wins, even the small ones.
Especially the small wins.
Right.
Yeah.
What happens when a strategy just isn't working?
You got to be flexible.
Oh, okay.
You got to be adaptable.
So you're not just sticking to the plan no matter what.
No, sometimes you got to abandon a strategy if it's not working.
Okay.
And that's okay.
So be open to feedback.
Be open to feedback.
Learn from those mistakes.
Learn from your mistakes and be willing to adjust. That's what makes this whole thing so interesting.
Yeah.
It's a process.
I love that.
It's a journey.
And there's always more to learn. So imagine a world where every company embraced these principles, you know, contrarian collaboration, radical transparency, owning your armor.
What would that look like?
What kind of workplaces did we create?
I think we would have workplaces where people felt valued,
Okay, good.
where they felt empowered, connected to a purpose.
Yeah.
You'd see innovation thriving.
And everyone would have a voice.
Everyone would have a voice.
So work wouldn't just be a job.
Right.
It would be a place where people could thrive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A place where they could really make a difference.
And each of us has the power to contribute to that,
We do.
no matter what our role is.
It starts with us.
So as you all head back to your workplaces, think about how you can embrace these principles,
Yeah.
even in small ways, you know?
Yeah.
Challenge the status quo, speak your truth,
Love it.
bring your whole self to work.
Yes.
You might be surprised by the impact you can have.
You really might.
Thank you all for joining us on this deep dive into shaping company culture.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope you learned some valuable insights and that you feel empowered to make a difference.
Absolutely.
And until next time, keep diving deep.
Keep diving.